All right, so we ended up with the sculptures and architecture of the Baroque time period yesterday, particularly the Italian Baroque, and now we're looking at the Italian Baroque painters. And the most famous one by far is a man named Caravaggio. His real name is Michelangelo Merisi, but I hope you can figure out why he didn't want to go by that. And that is because there was already a Michelangelo. So Caravaggio is actually the name of his hometown, and that is what he has become known as. There is a Caravaggio painting at the Nelson Atkins. It's probably one of the most famous paintings they have. That's a museum in Kansas City that we go to every other year for art club. So this is the year we don't go, but next year we'll be going right about this time. So you can see this one. Caravaggio is known for his chiaroscuro, which is, make sure you start learning that word. I'll show you how to spell it here in just a minute. I think it's on the next slide. The contrast between lights and darks. It always kind of looks like he has a specific light source. So you see the light coming down right on the middle of this man's face right here. So this man is Paul. Most of Caravaggio's paintings are religious in nature. This man is Paul, and he's fallen off his horse, and there's an angel up in the sky looking down at him. So this is one of his most famous paintings. So we'll keep looking at another one. This is called The Calling of St. Matthew, and Caravaggio also was often tried to shock his patrons, because he would take these religious figures. So St. Matthew is one of these people over here, probably this guy with the light on his face right there like that. He would take them and put them in normal, earthy, common settings. And so this is at a bar. And so many religious people didn't like that because they thought that was sacrilegious to show St. Matthew in a bar. So obviously St. Matthew was not wearing these clothings at this time period when he was called, but they would take the Bible stories and he would put them in settings of his own time. So that's what's going on here. So once again, a lot of chiaroscuro. Notice the light source here coming in and shining on the person's face that they want to be the focal point. He does that a lot. Okay, this is Caravaggio also, and this is his David and Goliath. So this is a painting of David victorious over Goliath. Notice you see it's much more emotional than a lot of the other things we've seen about David. This is Goliath's head laying here. It's obviously already been cut off. You can see where the rock embedded into his head. Much more emotional. Definite use of chiaroscuro, which is the light. And then here's his last one. I believe it's called Entombment. So this is when they took Christ down off the cross. Lots of highlights. So you can obviously tell who the focal person is because they're lit up more than anybody else. Again, very emotional, very off balance. Do you see how it's not symmetrical? If we took it like this and folded it in half, there's an empty spot over here. That is very characteristic of the Baroque. So I'm trying to think that chiaroscuro would be on here, but it's not. It's going to come up again, so I'll show you how to spell it then. All right, but make sure you understand what it is, the contrast between light and dark. So then we're going to look at the Spanish Baroque just a little bit today. So all of that we looked up till now, Caravaggio, all those sculptures, everything, that was all Italian. This is Spanish. This is Diego Rodriguez de Silva Velázquez. Okay, nobody calls him his whole big long name. He's just known as Velázquez. Okay, he's known for his exquisite details. This is the water carrier of Seville. And look at the glass, how well he does the glass and all the little tiny details and all this stuff. Again, lighting, strong lighting. Not as strong lighting as Caravaggio, but still strong lighting because that was part of the Baroque movement. And then there's definite emotion and things going on in here with this guy in the background. I hope you can see that. Looking on, it's supposed to make you wonder, I guess, what's going on there. This one, not so much emotional because it's just a picture of a king, but he was known for painting the kings, so I put this one in here. This is King Philip IV of Spain. This is by Velázquez. Make sure you can name this one and the painter. the painting and the painter. Same way with this one. Make sure you can name the painting and the painter, and all of the ones by Caravaggio. Make sure you can name the painting and the painter. Okay, most of Velázquez's portraits were portraits. I mean, most of his pieces were portraits. Okay, so he did a lot of portrait painting of a lot of people, like I said, a lot of kings and things like that. This one is a portrait, but it was hired as a group portrait, and it was supposed to monumentalize his time in history. And so this is called the Surrender of Breda. And I don't remember all the details about this, who was surrendering to who. I should look it up, but I'm not going to today. So, but anyway, what is significant about this is this was painted about 5 years after this surrender during this war. And it is extremely accurate of who was there, what it might have looked like. So he did a lot of research. He got all the details found right. And so a lot of people consider this a historical painting because the details are very correct, even though it was done about 5 years after the surrender happened. So, and it's considered a portrait because different people in this painting hired him to put him in there. So the ones you can see the faces of, I'm pretty sure those are the ones that hired him. So like this guy here, this guy here, this guy here, over here. Those are the ones that you can see the faces of. Pretty good. Okay. This piece is considered his masterpiece, his greatest work. This is called Las Meninas, which means the maidens. There's a lot going on in here. So this is the princess, basically. This person, and these would be her handmaids. And then these are midgets or dwarfs that during the time would have been hired to be her playmates. So they had the minds of an adult, but they looked like kids, and they would do that to keep the princess safe. That was a very common practice during the 1600s for kings and queens' children. Then this back here in the mirror here is the king and queen watching on here. And I forget who this person is coming down the steps. It's someone important. I don't remember. Sorry. And then this right here is Velázquez himself. So it's actually him painting a picture of them. So he paints a picture of himself, painting a picture of them. So that's kind of interesting. So here's some of those details blown up a little closer so you can see all these people in here. And then all the details on her dress. Okay. Not just look at the difference in the details between this and what we saw last time in the Northern Renaissance. I mean, it's not nearly, you could see every little thread on that one, guys, and this is much more loose. So this gives you an idea of the difference between the Italian Renaissance and the Baroque period. Much more swirly motions and stuff in the paintings than there were in Italian. Okay, so this is the end of the Italian and Spanish Baroque, and then tomorrow we'll go to the Northern and Colonial America.